Imagine if the powers were like devil fruit and you can't have two. We had to see everything again.
進撃の巨人に本当に時を超える能力があるのなら都合のいい記憶だけをグリシャに見せて過去に影響を与えることも。
That's key right there. That is a key quote. It should be possible for you to show Grisha memories that best suits you and connect that with Grisha in the last episode saying, why won't you show me this? Why do you only show me parts? And it is because he's only using the parts that's convenient for him, what he wants to show, so that it pushes Grisha in a certain directions and to take certain actions. It's very manipulative, in my opinion.
感謝してるよ、兄さん。あんたが俺を親父の記憶に連れ込んだおかげで今の道がある。
俺の望みではなくお前の望みが叶うって。始祖ユミル、すべてのユミルの民から生殖能力を奪え。先ほにグリシャは俺にこう言った。エレンを止めてくれと。お前に従ったことを後悔した。
I just want to understand one thing. Did he say that Eren say it's thanks to him that he could change things? That part I need to rewatch. Thanks to Zeke? Question mark?
父親の記憶からどんな未来の景色を見たか知らないが、お前は全てを見たわけじゃないんだろ。お前は無力なままだ。
Well, he could just turn into a titan and it'll be fine.
無駄だ、エレン。
Like he'll regrow everything.
ユミルを止めることなど。この世の何者にもできない。
It's kind of crazy, right? Like, you want Eren to stop Zeke, but you want Zeke to stop Eren. Well, that's me. At the end of the day, I still wish that Eren had spoken to Armin and Hanj and Mikasa and just come up with a different plan. But you know, those are just the actions I would have preferred. Okay. I will skip the opening because I can't watch it anyway. From You, 2000 years ago. And the first episode was called To You in 2000 years or something like that. Are we gonna see the past?
この中に豚を逃がした者がいる。名乗り出よ。出なければ全員から片目をくり抜く。奴隷に目玉は二つもいらぬ。
So, these are aliens being enslaved. It makes me so sad to think how people keep arguing, oh, but aliens are monsters and the world would be better without them. Like, the majority of aliens don't want to turn into mindless monsters. The majority of aliens are just people like you and me. So it's like if they were really so scary and so much stronger than all of us, like, I mean, as individuals, wouldn't they just boom turn into monsters and defeat all their enemies? Like, it's not that easy. There's 9 shifters, and the rest of them, it's not like they can choose. Like, they have to have spinal fluid injected into their bodies, and then who wants to turn into a mindless monster that doesn't know if they're going to eat their friend or their foe? I don't think there's so much history like this. I want to see so much more of this. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The average person, the average alien is not a monster.
逃がしたのはお前か。よかろう。お前は自由だ。
Oh, yeah. Such scary aliens. The world would be so much better without the aliens because they're so much stronger than us. And we are all scared of them. And so, sorry for the sarcasm. I know it's not right, but the way that some people argue to justify killing thousands upon thousands of people or genociding them. I shouldn't even show this because I know people are going to twist it into something ugly. But I literally bought this book because it's about... it's an evil book, but it remains necessary reading for those who seek to understand the Holocaust, for students of totalitarian psychology, and for all who care to safeguard democracy. That's why I bought it, because I want to understand, like, that man convinced the world that Jewish people, oh, they're such scary monsters and the world would be better off without them. Doesn't that sound familiar? I feel like you can't really see what I'm reacting to, sorry. Oh, the tree. Wait. Is this like the origin of Titans? Is it that thing that made them... Wait. Whoa. I feel like I'm a bit lost.
道を開き、荒れ地を耕し、峠に橋を架けた。我が部族エルディアは随分。
My slave but these are Ellie. Whoa, okay. I need to read the manga.
と大きくなった。 褒美だ。我の子種をくれてやる。
Oh no, oh no.
ブリッツの名のもと
Oh no.
憎き回れを滅ぼせ。
So it was like in So it was like in
食え、娘たちよ。何としてでもユミルの力を引き継ぐのだ。ユミルの体をすべて食い尽くせ。マリア、オーゼ、シーナ。
What?
娘たちよ、子を産み増やし続けよ。ユミルの血を絶やしてはならぬ。娘が死ねば背骨を孫に食わせ。
If my daughters die, have my grandchildren eat their spine.
孫が死ねばその背骨は子から子へ。 我が五章においても我がエルディアはこの世の大地を個体で支配し、我が巨人は永久に君臨し続ける。
いや、俺がこの世を終わらせてやる。俺に力を貸せ。お前は奴隷じゃない、神でもない、ただの人だ。誰にも従わなくていい。お前が決めていい。決めるのはお前だ。お前が選べ。
No, here Eren is right. That is why what makes the story so brilliant to me in this part is the fact that there are things with Eren that I agree with, and there are things that Zeke that I understand. Although I still think that his desire up to this point was as a result of his own trauma and not because it's what he truly believes is better. Like, for me, it just doesn't come out of a place of wholesomeness, as people seem to believe. It's more like he just wanted to be against his dad's revolutionist, restorationistness. But that's what makes it so great. Like, I want Eren to stop Zeke, and I want Zeke to stop Eren, and I just want the Eldians to be able to live a normal life. Like, even if their beginnings were not good, what makes it so much more interesting, and I admit to the fact that obviously I was wrong about, she wasn't a Titan back then. It wasn't, I thought it was like, I didn't know that was the beginning of Titans. But basically how I understand it, and I still need to read the manga, but it was inter-community, like, so for example, even before South Africa was colonized, there were tribes at war constantly, and that seemed to me like something like that. So one tribe, one place conquered another more powerful place, but they were the same people, right? I think, but then she was enslaved. They tried to kill her. She turned into a Titan. They used her power to build bridges and do this and do that. And he wanted to make this super race. Wanted to make super race, right? Right? That's similar. or believed in the super pure race or whatever, and then he obviously it all started in a horrible way, just like our country, what we have now, is also built on a history of many horrors, you know, intertribal wars. Colonialism went wrong because at the beginning it was there was in South Africa, the colonialists came and there was equal trade, you know, even King Shaka Zulu, he got sick, for example, and the Westerners, the colonialists, cured him and he gave them land, but eventually that all went wrong when one side became too greedy and they started fighting instead of trading. And then because, you know, the one side had freaking guns, obviously, just like the tribes in between each other killed each other, now they killed them. So, and then there was like just before I was born, there was apartheid ended. So what I'm trying to say is here, our history is fraught with horrors, and that's just not my country, that's everywhere in the world. Because at one stage we were all developing, like if you believe in evolution and whatnot, we were all developing, and we had to get to this point here where we are today, where we have laws to protect each other, and it's not like fighting for survival, physically fighting. So through trying to cultivate what we have today, where we have more or less, like it's still very bad in some places, but there's democracy and rules and laws and like the Geneva Convention, even war rules. There's horrors in our past, right? But that doesn't mean like I need to be punished for what colonialists did, or let's say King Shaka Zulu slaughtered many tribes. That doesn't mean any Zulu people today should be punished for what he did back then. You know what I'm saying? So even though I understand, oh, everything's so horrible, we should just kill everyone because our foundation of this is so bad, and it's just better to genocide people, not kill, but genocide, even though he did kill many people in order to reenact his plan. I still can't agree with him because the current Eldians have nothing to do with those Eldians. But I'm with Aaron, but then I'm also not with Aaron because he also goes too far with his plan, also taking, like, he's all about freedom, but then he transgresses other people's freedoms in order to, you know, for his own and his people's, and that's also not, like, there has to be a balance between these two extremes, you know, wanting to right the wrongs of the past, but also wanting to keep people's freedoms. So it's very, very difficult and complicated. I mean, it's been since the start. But I know I'm going to get shit for getting it wrong in the beginning. I didn't realize it was like the origin story. But I still stand by what I said. The average Eldian is just like that little girl. No power until someone abuses their power. And just because you can abuse something of someone, just because, like, for example, you see, she was abused because, not only because of her power, but because she's a woman and she can have babies and procreate, right? So women are being abused every day all across the world. There's a video I saw recently about a girl in, let me just read this. And obviously in the West, it's much better for women, and there has been, like, I feel like we're pretty much as equal as we can be in most of the West, but considering other things, like the fact that we are different and we do generally have different strengths and weaknesses, but so just quickly, here's a girl from head shaved, face blackened. A young girl is paraded through the streets in India's capital, Delhi, for rejecting a boy. The girl is later sexually assaulted and tortured by the relatives of the boy she rejected. So in many parts of the world, women are living horrible lives because they're being abused for, in Emir's case, her power and her fertility, but in other places just because they're women, and it's easy to take advantage of a woman when you're stronger than they are, right? And it's not about men versus women. It's about, as I've talked about before, a culture that teaches everyone that woman is lesser than, right? So my point is, just because women can be exploited and can be abused doesn't mean that our lives, you can decide for us, well, our lives are not worth living, right? Because I come from a culture where women are acknowledged to be generally less strong than men and therefore need to be protected. So in my culture, for example, if you break up with a boy and he spreads rumors about you, your brothers will go to their house and they will like intimidate them or rough them up because you are to be protected. That is what your brothers are there for, right? Men protect women. But I mean, it's all very complicated. We can go into much more depth, but I'm just trying to understand here where he's coming from. Like, oh, our power has been exploited and therefore we should just die out because it's less suffering. But that is like saying there's still parts of the world where women are treated and as second-class citizens, where they are being paraded around in streets if they reject the guy. Like, we can also be exploited, but just because we can be exploited doesn't mean our lives is not worth living. Rather, fight to make it like the West, right, where women are treated as equals for the most part. Like, yeah, sure, there's some discrepancies, but some of it's not even worth fighting over anymore, because it's kind of tipping onto the other side now, where women almost want to become men. That's also problematic. But you understand what I'm saying? It's just because in certain parts of the world women are treated like absolute shit and exploited doesn't mean that we should genocide them so that no more women can be born, so that we don't have to suffer. Rather, fight for equal rights so that doesn't continue to happen. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So I get where he's coming from, but I still don't think it came out of it. More was against Grisha. And I also get where Eren is coming from, and I do support him in this. Him saying, you are just a human, you are not a god, and you get to decide. He's trying to convince her of her own freedom, in a sense. But he wants to take it too far the other way, and like, it's so crazy. There are two extremes.
ここまで導いたのはお前なのか。今すぐやれ。ユミル。待っていたんだろう。
Her eyes for the first time. Holy fuck. Whoa. 10 out of 10 already. Easy. So the rumbling was never a false threat? Oh, it was a false threat because of the pacifist. But if he was a pacifist, why is the rumbling possible in the first place? I guess because
入
the
ってきた私たちのところに
ウォールマリアの壁まで崩壊している。マーレの連合軍を潰すだけならこんなに必要ないよ。
すべてのユミルの民に次ぐ。
今エレンの声が
その巨人の力を介し、すべてのユミルの民へ話しかけている。パラディ島にあるすべての壁の硬質化が解かれ、その中に埋められていたすべての巨人は歩み
to
始め
destroy
た。
the world.
俺の目的は、俺が生まれ育ったパラディ島の人々を守ることにある。しかし世界はパラディ島の人々が死滅することを望み、
But it's not the whole world.
に
Wait.
ある。しかし
The world, but it's not the whole world. It's not every single person in the world wants Titans dead. That's like saying that's like during World War II, Hitler villainized, demonized the Jewish people, and that would be like believing, oh, the whole world wants us dead because some people side with Hitler. You know, they had their allies, and there was other, you know, there was two separate groups, kind of, probably more, but two main groups. I don't think that everyone is on the side of. They really are two extremes. Eren and Zeke, they are two complete extremes.
世界はパラディ島の人々が死滅することを望み、この島のみならず、すべてのユミルの民が殺され尽くすまで止まらないだろう。俺はその望みを拒む。壁の巨人はこの島の外にあるすべての地表を踏み鳴らす。そこにある命をこの世から駆逐するまで。
Eren and Zeke, they are two complete extremes. Eren and Zeke, they are two complete extremes.